Water runs deep in this artist's soul. In this episode, Sundiata reflects on his lifelong relationship with the sea and how it moves through his work like a silent rhythm. He shares the one question he wishes interviewers would ask and closes with a spontaneous sketch like only he can. You talk to artists, and a lot of artists seem to have a connection to the sea. And that mysticism about the sea and so on. Does that play into your art from seascapes and a lot of water at all?
Well, it's not seascapes. What I would say is that, every time I contemplate things, like for instance, this is a series. When I investigate the work of Emil Nolde around 1986, a German expressionist artist, when he was running from the Nazis, he went to the north of France just to escape them. And while he was contemplating and getting back home to where he lived, the whole of the Brittany coastline, he immersed himself, and he did a series of paintings about the wave. And since then, I've been always studying this. What would drive a man to spend so much time fascinated about the sea? Well, I realized it was memory, passages, returning to self, escape, possibilities. So when I came back to Trinidad, I spent a lot of time on the north coast of Trinidad. But those fleeting clouds has come across from Tobago going across. And I try not to interpret too much, but I know when I look at this painting here, I could see the symbolism of the horizon, But the sea symbolizes a lot of things for me. Passages, nurturing, possibilities, the womb, life, even death. So I'm looking for one. Don't worry, I handle my art. I do this for many years. I'm always fascinated by them moving clouds on the horizon.
Right.
I don't know why. But remember that I don't be thinking too much, I don't be logically thinking too much that I want to show a coconut tree out there or a boat come in and tell a story. I have a lot of studies on that. I'm still working on it. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm about. So there's no accident. And I don't know if the fishermen, they're waiting for somebody who lost at sea, or if they're thinking of going out, or I don't know, but the best I could do is to paint it and let the story come out. But it's one of my favorite subjects. after the female form, this is one I was working on a long time. There's some people celebrating themselves by the water. Right. Of course, it's unfinished. But eventually I'll get there. I don't know. But just like today, I'll just come in the studio and pick up some paint and just get to work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. If I start to pull out work here, you won't know. You'll think you see a lot of work. You'll be shocked. But it's just that I have good skill with moving around things.
Back to the carnival.
Yeah, but I like the Blue Devil thing, but not too much, because I find people sanitizing the Blue Devil and Mokajambi and making them look too transient.
What is a question you think all the time that interviewers should ask you but they never do?
But I think probably about my vulnerability, my uncertainties, or things like that, you know. About things like that, you know, my uncertainties, my fears, you know. They ask me some, you know, things like that, or how I see my state, or if I please my work.
And if they ask you that, what do you tell them?
Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. It don't happen all the time. One thing that I strive every day is not to limit myself or to get satisfied. That's one thing I try not to do. And it's almost like not wanting to get successful, not wanting to reach the end, not wanting to reach on top. I'm not interested in that.
So you're more interested in the journey than the destination?
Yeah. Yeah, and like right now, I'm the hardest time in my life I work in. I mean doing art.
Right.
I'm talking about just numerical paintings, but I'm talking about the intensity I put in.
Quality, yeah.
And the effort. And where it's taken from me, because the kind of energy to make that decision to put in a curve and to balance it there, don't be just a cerebral decision, you know. Take a little thing, because it had to be useful, right, not correct. And the point is that once that's done, it changes the whole painting. Eh?
Yeah.
Now I might have to now go back and balance off certain things, so things like that. So it's like that. The idea about, you told me about documentation and finishing up all your work. Right now I'm going through a stage where I really don't care at this point, honestly. Somebody who had to tie me up, lock me down and say, okay, Sundiata, we had to get this thing going and do everything. Somebody had to do that. Because right now, tell you the truth. You only here and I only pause, you know. Since you come here, I pause today. But if you did drop in here, listen, the amount of thing that I'm working on right now, that's yesterday's work, you know. And here to be chaotic, it's just work. It's just work.
Well, as you pause, let me don't get in the way of your work.
Nah.
But I'm going to ask you to do some work for me. I want you to,
Do a work.
and in the same book you were sketching there, I want you to sketch something that captures your mood right now.
My mood? Capture my mood. Whatever capture my mood, dog. As we just say, dog. And you don't worry. Let's see how it is operate out. Ow! They're working straight in. When people come by me, they say, Sundiata one, and I say, take it one time, because when you come back tomorrow, if I feel the F that up, you're going to F up, you know. What? I'm serious. I say, you take it one time. I just do over the sketch. It's just sketch from paintings, you know. A big butt girl. You know, me, I'm free to draw. I'm free to draw at all. It's a whimsical drawing. I think she's God gifts. God gift the life. I don't mind that here. That's all. I know I could do it tomorrow, yes? My last drawing, the last drawing. Alexis.